Battle control initialized.
Hey guys, Cybe here. We're a new episode of OpenRA, as we're going to cover the Allied forces. Most specifically, the European Allied forces of Red Alert. Most particularly Germany, which is who I am. And the enemy today will be England.
Building.
God, I'm so much worried about this recording because I'm so excited to get Doom soon. I'm about like a day away from getting this game, which is
Complete.
one of my loves. I love shooter games, and Doom got me into the shooter genre. But enough of that. Let's get back to realizing what OpenRA changed in Red Alert. As you know, Red Alert has changed a lot in OpenRA, as with the Soviet forces got some new units and a change in how they balance their units. They did the exact same thing with the Allied forces. Primarily within their units, unique structure changes, and also the ability to have their helicopters available. The longbow as usual, and then the Hind, which was originally available to the Soviets.
Incoming transmission.
Due to the fact that the Soviets have their own air force, which is the MiG attack craft and the Yak attack planes. So the Allies were kind of lacking in the aircraft department, so they kind of balanced it out. And the first thing they did is have the Hind, which is an anti-infantry helicopter, and also works well against ore trucks, and get that done. And still have the anti-vehicle capability of the longbow. So both the Soviets and the Allies have anti-infantry and anti-vehicle support craft. So with that in mind, when I mentioned in the last part that I was going to cover a side of the Allies which has a lot more technology than the others, Germany, the great land of Germany, has joined the European Allies against the Soviets in this game. The unique units in this game for the Germans is the ability to have a stronger chronosphere, knowing that Albert Einstein lies from Germany in this game. So it's granted that Germany would have the ability to have a stronger chronosphere, so they can transport more units from one point to another and then back after a minute, which is the whole purpose of the Chronosphere project back on Red Alert. Having something appear and reappear, which is mind-boggling back in their day until the Red Alert 2's Chronosphere, which is probably one of the most overpowered super weapons in Command and Conquer. Let's get those gems. Alright, let's go ahead and get this focused here. I want to go ahead and mention the vehicles right now. They did change some things in this game where Command and Conquer didn't really have... Since the Allies don't have an APC, they're going to have to rely on Rangers to transport an infantry unit inside. So they allowed a Ranger to equip one infantryman inside a vehicle for a little mobile transport. These can work really well in run-and-gun situations. You can have a couple Rangers with some rocket guys inside and ambush an ore truck if you guys want to, which actually works really well. I'm wasting all my time here. I can build a service depot and get a queue up for some buildings here. Yeah, with the Ranger, all it does is basic anti-infantry, and when I mentioned can carry an infantry unit inside, which is nice for little sneak attacks that the Allies do really best. Hit-and-run tactics early game for the Allies works really well, and at the late game, you always want to have a mass medium tank barrage, because what the Allies lack in... How can I explain? Lack in military might, they have in mass units. If you can mass up a bunch of Allied units, and they're fairly cheap, they're cheaper, but they are a little more brittle than Soviet vehicles. So you guys want to build them en masse, and that's the whole goal of the Allies, trying to push through as many units as possible early in the game, so you can prevent the Soviets from getting that might of the Soviet army in the late game. Because you do not want to fight the Soviets late game as the Allies. You want to end this fight as soon as possible. Sooner the better. Once you finish the radar dome, it will give you access to the artillery unit, So I'm going to have those set up right away. And the medium tank, which is the backbone of the Allied army, kind of resembles an Abrams tank, you know. You want to have that built right away. Very important.
Building.
Let's get some gems in here.
Unit ready.
Doing your job, Ore Trucks. Good job. And at least I can cover this. The Allied artillery can outrange any base defense, same as the V2 rocket, but it's extremely deadly versus infantry and light vehicles if they stand still. The enemy has to stay mobile against you if you're an Allied force, because these little guys can decimate almost anything in the battlefield, but they're extremely brittle, so they need to have their asses covered, otherwise they're gonna go down in
Unit ready.
an easy explosion of scrap metal.
Building.
We'll get the helipad built so we can get you guys some helicopters out in the field.
Building.
Get this set up here. But yeah, basically the medium tank does its job. You take care of this with some structures and heavy vehicles en masse, that'll take care of the Soviets with ease. The light tank, unfortunately, even though it does its job early game, it's only best for ambushing ore trucks and light vehicles. Keep light tanks away from heavy armor at all costs. The light tank is so weak against them. It will barely dent them before they get destroyed. Try to keep medium tanks on the back behind light tanks so the light tanks can take most of the fire, so your heavier guns of the medium tank can do the job. That's what I usually do with light tanks. I just use them as cannon fodder. Which is pretty fun.
Unit ready.
Here, I'm going to go ahead and get you guys covered on some base defenses. You got the standard turret, which does its job against armored units. And something unique that they added onto the game, which I'll show you guys shortly once I build them, is the pillboxes in this game. You still got the standard pillbox that does its job against infantry.
Unit ready.
But its uniqueness is when you garrison a soldier inside. Once we build this camo pillbox, it'll become stealth. Instead of showing up as the same color, it'll just show as a stealth unit. So it's very hard for the Soviets to actually see it because it's actually stealth in this version of the game. Unlike the previous against the regular Red Alert, it's not. You just see it as the same color as the terrain around you. But let me deploy the pillbox. So as you can see here, you got the area of influence of where the assault goes. If you undeploy it, you notice there's a rifle infantry guy in here.
Construction complete.
So basically, the pillbox is like the bunker in Red Alert 2. Any one infantryman inside will give the effect, with the rifle infantry being the anti-infantry base defense, while the rocket soldier will fire rockets in its pillbox doors. So you can always control your base defenses accordingly.
Unit ready.
But the most overpowered base defense in the Allied side is the anti-aircraft gun. These things can mow down Soviet aircraft in seconds, and their range is fantastic compared to Red Alert. Red Alert's range, I'm going to show you right now, is like more than double. Look at this. The area of influence is high around here, and you always want to have a anti-air because a lot of the AI always tends to go after the ore trucks if they're the Soviets. But unfortunately, it won't be in this part of the video because I know for a fact that we're playing against another Allied force, which we'll go ahead and scout ahead of here. And also one thing we're going to do is cover the naval yard, because one of the best things that the Allies have is their fantastic navy. That's one of the things I loved about the Allied forces is their navy. Their navy of gunboats, destroyers, and the almighty cruiser, which can destroy anything in its path, but anything air units will blow them up to smithereens. So you always want to cover them with destroyers, which will take care of those pesky aircraft, and at the same time can destroy vehicles and structures at a nice distance. They still are vulnerable to Tesla coils, however, because they still have the range to outdo them. Now, with the good old tech center built, we'll have the GPS satellite up in about 8 minutes in normal speed. Oh, ore truck not doing anything. Mind that. And one of the things, when you build the Allied Tech Center, it unlocks all the advanced stuff. The Chrono technology, you'll have access to Tanya, which is probably the most iconic commando in Command and Conquer history. Don't be admit. You've done some naughty things with Tanya. And don't be shy to admit it. Don't worry. Let's go up there and see if we can get some more ore up there. Let's get some air units up there. There she is. The ultimate commando with her dual pistols and C4 can devastate enemy infantry with ease. Now with infantry, which is very unique in this game, is you have the ability to build spies, which can infiltrate units, and I actually have not covered yet in my earlier playthroughs because I've never used it yet. So we're going to experience this firsthand blind. The spy, you know, in Red Alert, when you infiltrate a building inside, it'll usually tell you what unit's being built inside the structure. Or if you infiltrate a refinery, it'll tell you how much credit the enemy has remaining, or until the building gets destroyed or captured or whatnot. And I don't know if it does anything else. The only thing I wish is the Allied Thief was in this game. The Allied Thief in Red Alert just loves to siphon credits, and they always have that mentality of deception, which is actually the key thing of the nation that we're not even covering, which is France, because it doesn't deserve to be covered, because it has one of the weakest units, a unique unit, the mobile gap generator, which is not really useful in this game, to be honest.
Incoming transmission.
You don't want a mobile gap generator. It basically gives your position away if an allied unit or any revealed area is revealed. Go up there and take a look at what's going on here. And of course, like the Soviets, the Allies will have access to the nuke. Unit lost. Oh shit! They got a rush coming.
Reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Ready and waiting.
Hello, hello, hello.
Building.
Get you over here, Tanya.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Let's get that fixed up here.
Unit lost.
There she goes.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Get out of there, Tanya. Get out of there, Tanya. Alright, let's get these guys moving. They're attacking my ore truck. Get over there and destroy that bastard.
Construction.
There we go. There's the artillery doing its job. And I swear it outranges V2s. I really swear it does. But yeah, we lost a lot of units.
Training.
Get some medium tanks back up. But it looks like the spy is going to need some help here. Oh, I forgot to mention. In previous playthroughs, you noticed that there was a chevron next to units, which is their veterancy, which was actually introduced in Tiberian Sun, which is implemented in these games. Which veterancy also gives you access to better firepower for the units, maybe regenerative health, or higher speed and accuracy. You never know. It all depends on the unit who gets promoted, which is really cool.
Training.
Let's have some fun with these units here.
Reporting as you wish. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative.
Oh, the Allied forces, I love them so.
Unit ready.
Missile silo ready here.
Prepping.
And we'll get the access to this chronosphere, because the chronosphere is actually very strong in this game. The German chronosphere can, I believe, based on its area of influence, can actually transport up to 9 vehicles
Construction complete.
in anywhere you want in the map for about 60 seconds before it transports back to its original plane. Which is how the original Red Alert chronosphere works. It transports one unit to and from, does a little sneak attack, and then transports back. I don't know if there's going to be any quakes or temporal anomalies happen with the chronospheres used yet, because I have not encountered it yet. So I'm not 100% sure if there's going to be any anomalies. I wish there is, though, because that adds a lot more risk into using the chronosphere, since it's a lot powerful than it is at the first Red Alert.
Training.
Also, Germany has advanced access to the Chrono tank.
Unit ready.
Although not as strong as the Red Alert 1's counterpart, oh my god. It can take care of structures pretty darn easily. It is a little brittle though, so you gotta be very careful when deploying it. Oh, you got a crate.
Incoming transmission.
Here, get that. That crate ranger.
Construction complete. Unit
Oh,
lost.
it blew up. Ah, there's my little cruiser. Fires 4 volleys
Unit ready.
of explosive shells that are very inaccurate, but at a group of units or structures, they can blow it up pretty much instantly. Alright, got enough power plants up to deploy the chronosphere.
Building.
Focus back up here, see what we're doing here. Alright, we found some structures here, so let's...
Unit ready. Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Covered here. We're good. Now, let's try doing some... Actually, we're not going to do any more exploring. We'll wait for the GPS satellite to reveal everything.
Unit ready. Deploy here. Building.
And we'll deploy some regular infantry units. Rocket soldiers and rifle infantry in this game are the basic set from both the Allies and Soviets. They both have access to it. Anti-infantry, and rocket soldiers for anti-tanks.
Ready.
But what's unique to the Allied forces, also with the spy, which can infiltrate structures and does effects of buildings there being infiltrated, which we'll cover in another episode. I'm going to cover these unique guys in another video.
Unit ready. Sufficient.
As I play the game, it's kind of hard to explain some units in action while I'm being attacked by the enemy. So with
Unit ready.
that set up,
Awaiting order.
Construction complete.
let's cover the medic and the mechanic. These two guys are awesome to have in your possession. The mechanic is basically what it is, a mechanic. Repairs vehicles, so you don't have to worry about setting them up at the service depot to get repaired. Pesky Soviets don't have this. And the medic, which is a lifesaver. This is kind of like a similar counter to a lot of the Soviet anti-infantry units, because a lot of the Soviets have a lot of units that will devastate infantry. Oh, there goes our satellite, so we're going to see how they're doing. Yep, and there he is doing his job right now.
Unit ready.
And now, the chronosphere. Now we got that ready.
Target.
You can see its area of influence, and indicated by the red mark is what the infantry is going to be not infantry, what I'm saying is the vehicles can be transported from one point to another and then back. But for Germany, it has a bigger area of influence, usually able to deploy like no more than 5 with a regular chronosphere. An Iron Curtain as well. You just click on that, and then the green area is where they're going to be transported to. I don't want to do that now because that's a waste of a thing here. Oh shit, they got a cruiser too. Alright.
Reporting. Affirmative. Reporting.
We gotta get our stuff ready here. Because looks like they've got a nice little army of their own here. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna give these guys their fun today. And we're gonna attack that ore truck that's out in the open.
Unit ready.
Thanks to our little pesky aircraft that we have.
Training.
Man, these aircraft can do their job, but definitely keep the longbows to anti-armor jobs and ore truck disposal, and keep the Hinds going for infantry. But keep them away from rocket soldiers, because the rocket soldiers can actually destroy the helicopters really easily compared to other games. Let's attack that now. Hopefully it doesn't get in range of the destroyers, because the destroyers can destroy these aircraft. Oh, come on, you can destroy her. Alright, good job, longbow.
Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Got our little navy here.
Able to build more.
Now, we're going to cover the navy. The gunboat's basic gunboat. What you want to do
Construction complete.
is have the gunboat scout the area for enemy subs, since the green area of influence... Uh-oh. We got a phase transport. which is one of the unique sides of the Germans, the English. The English have phase transports, which can transport an infantryman inside, and can wreak havoc if the base defenses don't detect them. Okay, they got some enemy infantry coming up. Let's go over there and take care of that with Tanya. And the base defense is doing its job really well, too. Oh, you're so OP, Tanya.
Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Waiting orders. At once.
Alright, we got that taken care of. Are there any more units throwing a fit? Nope. Alright. Oh, we got some Navy action going on. We might get some naval battle here.
Reporting. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Let's give them that naval battle, shall we?
Unit ready.
Alright.
Reporting.
I'll play with you.
Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Waiting orders. Affirmative.
Naval here. Naval here. Lost. Naval here.
Yes,
Lost.
sir. Acknowledge.
Naval here.
Waiting orders.
Lost.
Affirmative.
Naval here. Lost.
Fall back.
Affirmative. Yes,
Have
sir.
these
Naval
guys.
here. Lost.
Gonna have my aircraft take care of the last here.
Unit ready.
Reporting. Knowledge.
And then in case if you need to repair your naval units, just deploy them back to the naval yard. Same thing with the Soviets. To repair your subs, put it in the sub pen to repair. And looks like I'm going to destroy these sons of bitches that are messing with me.
Very well.
Unit ready.
Oh nope, he's going back to base. Forget it. Let's harass their ore truck for a little while. While we build vehicles
Training.
to destroy their units here. Looks like our
Reporting. Knowledge.
infantry's throwing a fit here.
Unit repaired. Unit training. Training.
Yes, sir. Acknowledge.
Unit ready.
Wow, the ore truck's all the way over there. Let's take advantage of that.
Unit ready.
As you wish. Affirmative. As you wish.
Unit
Of
ready.
course. Agreed.
Unit ready.
At once. Very well.
Alright, RTB guys.
Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Unit ready. Construction complete.
Waiting order. Affirmative.
Alright, let's A-bomb them so they don't A-bomb us back.
Target. A-bomb prepping.
Rush in with some units here.
Unit ready.
Reporting.
Cruisers in position.
Awaiting orders. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Oh, they still got the A-bomb. But the AA guns are offline, so I might be able to sneak attack them.
Reporting. Awaiting orders.
Actually, I might not get it on time, but there's a good chance I might be able to chrono shift my cruisers. I'm gonna do that. Stop.
Unit ready. Select target. Insufficient funds.
Let's chrono shift you bastards.
Reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Vehicle reporting.
And then remember, you see this white bar, they're gonna be there for only a limited amount of time, so we gotta hurry up and attack them, and attack them fast.
Awaiting orders. Acknowledged.
Unit lost. Unit lost.
There they go. Just enough time to do a quick assault.
Insufficient funds. Unit lost. Unit
Yes,
lost.
sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Awaiting orders.
Our base is
Affirmative.
under attack.
Attacking the base.
Yes, sir. At once.
Unit ready. Unit ready.
Agreed. Vehicle
There we go. At least with the nuke, they're out of power, so they can't launch it, so we're in good shape.
acknowledged.
Yeah, that pretty much covers it though, but you gotta be careful. Even though you have your mechanic and medic out in the field, they're very vulnerable to gunfire, so protect them at all costs. And also, you might be a victim of collateral damage with the artillery unit because it is very, very volatile unit. So even though you have your guys up front, they will cause a little bit of friendly fire. So you got to be very careful. Oh, shit, 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 shit. Fall back, fall back, fall back, fall back.
Unit ready.
Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged. Awaiting order. Affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Awaiting order. Affirmative. Reporting.
No, my artillery, no!
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Reporting. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative. Vehicle reporting.
Ooh, these gunboats are go fast.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Awaiting orders. Course.
Chronosphere ready.
And while we're here, we can probably transport medium tank over here. But the game is too late. We ended up getting in the game. Yeah, but pretty much the Allied forces, naval power over vehicles is a must. Even though they are expensive to produce. Yeah, but I can do a lot better in this game. I gotta do a lot better. But I'm gonna cover any units that I missed on this episode on the next video, which includes both Soviet and Allies. So there's gonna be a lot of editing on this next part. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.